All right, welcome back to another episode of Project M. I am Tanner Guzzi here with Brandon King. A couple housekeeping items real quick.
Yeah.
First thing is, if you're not already, go follow us on Instagram, which is at EnterProjectM. We're going to be posting up a lot of stuff related to what we're doing as we're going through these challenges, especially because our September challenge is the DEXA scan.
Right.
And what we're going to be doing as far as changing up body composition and that kind of stuff. And so if you want to see what our training schedules are like, what Brandon actually looks like when he doesn't eat whatever he wants to. all these things that we're doing. I'm sorry, that was mean.
No, that's fine.
We're gonna post that stuff up, and then obviously we want to see, for you guys who are doing this with us, we want you to tag us on there too, and so you can show us what you're doing. So make sure you're following us on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll post what we're doing with the guys.
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, this next one I'm excited about because we're going to be going up to Snowbird, and we're going to hopefully we can figure it out to rent some bikes and go mountain biking and kind of down the whole thing. And if not, we'll just do a hike and come down. But yeah, we'll post all that kind of stuff up too. Okay, so follow us at EnterProjectM on Instagram. And today on our episode, Brandon did not tell me what he wanted to talk about.
It's not that mysterious.
I know, it's not. It's not. It sounds like it's a much bigger deal. But okay, well, I think one of the reasons why we like the idea of doing this, and obviously you guys are going to figure out, if you haven't already, that we're learning how to do this as we go. And we talked about that on the very first episode of we're just doing this.
Right.
And these first few episodes, I can't wait to listen to these in 2 years and just cringe at how bad everything is. And that's what's fun is we're putting ourselves in the arena very publicly, so everybody else who does their own podcast can be like, well, I can't believe these guys are publishing this crap.
Right.
But it's fun because it's just an opportunity to actually to do this stuff. So part of it is what we wanted to do, because a lot of podcasts really do feel very stuffy and formal, and I've been interviewed on interview shows before where they follow every single question to the letter with no deviation or anything else like that. And we're more interested in just having a good discussion and letting you guys feel like you're just kind of eavesdropping in on, you're hanging out with some friends instead of like this very formal interview or anything like that. Okay. So what did you want to ask me?
Okay. So the other night I was at company party, I guess you could call it like that, family party. And I looked around and I noticed that, I guess I'll put it, the most attractive women at the party, wives, girlfriends, employees or not, every guy that they were with was dressed the exact same.
Ooh, a style question. Yeah, okay.
So I wanted to bring this into your arena a little bit. So, yeah, very attractive women. They're all with guys who look like, like sales bro is I guess how I would put it.
Describe that.
So, I was telling my wife about the phenomenon as I was observing. I say every one of them looks like they walked into a Zoomies or a PacSun and just said, "I'll buy the rack." Everything you've got here, right?
Put it all in the bag.
So yeah, it's like the Stance socks,
the
Vans, maybe some like khaki shorts, or whatnot, and then like some florally button up or.
Is it buttoned up all the way? Are they doing the air tie?
Some of them,
yeah. So there's some variation.
I guess a little bit of variation,
wow.
And then yeah, like the 5-panel cap or whatever. It's that aesthetic, right?
Right.
And so I was wondering. So one, like, it doesn't seem like that takes a lot of effort or creativity. So my question to you was, if this is what's working for the guys getting
getting the attractive women,
why don't you dress every man that you see? If that's maybe, you can tell me. I guess I have some assumptions, but you can tell.
Why don't I just tell everybody to go dress that way?
Why is this not the template for, if this is what's working in that aspect at least?
Right. Okay.
And it seems like these guys have some level of respect for each other. There's some community aspect there or tribal aspect of the way that they dress. Yeah, like if this is working.
Are they all part of the same department within the company?
No,
okay, interesting.
I guess I don't know, but no, right? Like,
so it's not like they all are part of the sales team or anything else like that.
We're a big enough company that's not the case. Like, it's not like they all. I mean, you see this.
Good to know.
There's a lot of tech companies around here.
Okay.
I don't think this is unique to the company I work.
No, I would imagine not. Especially, where we are, and the fact that for you guys who don't know, in Utah, it's basically another Silicon Valley
Right.
at this point. Lots of yeah, right. I mean, it's really easy for me to say that, but
Well, some people here would like to think that.
exactly. Okay, it's a budding, maybe kind of growing up a little bit into another Silicon
So,
Valley.
okay.
Yeah.
So there's my question is, why don't you tell every guy to dress like that? And I guess my other question is, if it's that easy, should everyone seek this? Like, we should maybe cut that. If ever,
Nope, we're keeping it in. Keep going.
is there value in just this templatized?
No.
It seems so easy, right?
Right.
It seems so easy that if you dress this certain way, you'll have.
If you dress like Chad, you become Chad.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, because when it comes to style and stuff like that, okay, there's a few different things that are going on here. And we'll talk about it a little bit before I give you my diagnosis on the other question, because I have a few follow-up questions. But related to that idea of why not just dress everybody like that?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, the first thing is that there's two things that are going on. The first one is there has to be some congruence between how you dress and who you actually are. So
Sure.
if these guys all dress similarly, they all have similar kind of attitudes and charisma and joviality and everything else like that, and you get little incel dude who decides that he's going to dress like that, but he doesn't carry himself that way, he doesn't have that social confidence or that competence or anything else, then what the contrast is that's created from that is actually much worse, and it's more stark, because then he's sending this false signal of, I'm like all these other guys, when clearly none of his attitudes or actions or anything else actually back that up.
So, I guess my perception is that this look is so generic that it doesn't actually.
But for you and me, who are guys who don't identify with that look, it is generic. I bet for them...
I think you could dress up in that uniform, look just fine. I could dress up in that uniform, fit in just fine.
Right.
Do you think you're saying that there are guys who could put that particular uniform on and it would?
Oh,
there
yeah.
would be some
And it would actually
dissonance.
make them look even worse, because it would very much look like they are... I just imagine, we'll go back to like the 80s and 90s movies that we grew up watching, and you take the scrawny little mathlete kid and you put him in the Leatherman jacket from the
varsity team,
the varsity team, the quarterback. And there's obviously this really glaring contrast here where he looks even worse wearing the Letterman jacket than he does in his regular uniform, because clearly he hasn't earned it or anything else like that.
Okay.
And so you and I, being at some level of maybe not the chaddest of chads,
Right.
but being at some level where we could do that and get away with it, whereas a lot of other guys really can't.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing that makes this an interesting question, and why it doesn't work to just dress everybody like that, is that one of the primary functions of clothing is to make it so you can separate yourself from other people. And so if all of a sudden everybody were to dress in that same uniform, those guys would adopt something else, because they need some sort of a signal. And this happens very organically and subconsciously,
Right.
but they want some sort of a signal as a way to separate them from everybody else.
Right.
And we see that on big scales and on small scales. And that's where this idea of we don't see the difference, but they probably see the differences between them, even though to us it looks like it's a very generic uniform.
So you're telling me it's not actually generic, as I think.
I would imagine, and obviously having not been there or anything else
Right.
like that. But that was one of the...
You know the look I'm talking
Right,
about.
I do. I
You've
totally
seen it.
know the look you're talking about. And that's the thing that's so interesting about uniforms or generic looks or anything else like that is go to a private school,
Right.
and you will see everybody is literally wearing the same clothes, but the way that they wear them, or the sizing, or these little, the most minute things that people can have within their control, they will control and change. And those little things will be used as status signals to be able to say, I'm high in this hierarchy, I'm low in this hierarchy, I fit in, I don't, I understand what's going on, or I don't, or anything else like that. And so if you get everybody in the company to adopt this sales bro uniform, then either one, you're going to have them move over to something entirely different, or two, they're going to double down and fine tune even more on what those small distinctions are so that they do look different from everybody else.
Okay. So here's the question I asked my wife.
Okay.
And maybe I shouldn't care about this, but why is it that the most beautiful women were all with guys dressed like that? Is that a me thing? Like beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and I'm seeing the type of woman that's attracted to these guys as beautiful? Or is there something objective there where women are also drawn to that look?
Okay. I think that the assumption
Speak for women for me.
Yeah, right. I think the assumption that would have to prove true there is that the look itself is attractive to these women. Because I know very often that a lot of the women who find themselves attracted to those kind of men, they actually hate the way that they dress.
Okay.
And so they are attracted to them in spite of they're all wearing that kind of uniform, as opposed to because of they're all wearing that uniform. And that actually ties back to what we were talking about a minute ago, where I had a few follow-up questions.
Right.
Because what kind of shape were all these guys in?
All right, and this maybe you can speak for women, because that's the answer my wife gave me too. She said it's not their clothes. She
Okay.
said it's their hair. It's that they work out. It's their confidence.
Right.
And she pointed to those things.
See, I speak for all women. Yeah. Okay. So what she said is basically it's a side dish, whereas everything else is the stuff that's more important.
But it still comes back to, for me, I don't know. They're all. It seems so the same. That it seems that someone that has the confidence, the hair, and the physique should be able to dress better, and then level themselves
Better
up.
how?
In a more attractive way, I guess,
Attractive to whom?
to the opposite sex.
Okay.
Because if it is an in spite of, that implies that women don't actually like that.
Right. Which it may be, or it may just be
It
an
may-
ambivalence thing
yeah.
or something else. Right.
And so if that's the case, that it's in spite of that, then that would mean logically that there is improvement that could be made in that arena as well, that would level that certain guy up above this, what I'm calling the generic uniform.
Yes.
And that they would do even better. But I didn't see anybody. I don't know. Maybe this person exists. I didn't see any. I don't observe that case.
Right. Okay. So there's a theory going out there. I don't know if I agree with this or not, because I think that it's much more vindictive and underhanded than I really think is the case. But there's a theory going out there right now that a lot of times women will discourage the men in their lives from dressing better because it makes them feel like, a lot of women feel like they should be the more physically attractive of their partners.
Okay.
And if my husband or my boyfriend is dressing better and he looks more handsome, he's in better shape, he's got better hair, better skin, whatever else, then it either one means that I, as the woman, have to then step up my game, or two, he's going to leave me to find somebody else that's even above where he is going.
Right.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I don't subscribe to that.
Yeah.
At the same time, some of that seems like on a very deep subconscious level that could be something that's happening.
That also implies that the woman was already paired with this person
Right.
before they decided to dress
Exactly.
better.
Which
right?
I wouldn't be surprised, unless these are fairly new couples, because it's not like this is what guys were wearing 10 years ago.
They're young. I mean, I would think that that their dress hasn't changed largely over the recent past.
Right.
Because these are mostly younger guys, like 20s, 30s. A lot of them aren't married. It's a girlfriend situation.
Gotcha.
So I don't think that's the case. I think that the women are, whatever you want to say, pairing up or getting with these guys in this current state.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So they weren't dating them or married to them prior to their dressing this way. They've always known them as dressing this way.
I think so.
Okay.
That's the assumption.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
operating.
And obviously we're operating on a lot of assumptions with this.
Right.
But it is interesting that it's noticeable. There is a noticeable
Definitely.
pattern of the most attractive women within your company
Right.
are paired up almost 100% with these sales bro Chad dudes that all dress in the same uniform.
Yeah, I don't know that I don't know that that's fair, but yeah,
Okay, why not?
because that sounds like that sounds, is the word derogatory? I don't know, like diminutive of these guys. And
I would love to be more Chad.
okay, sure, okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's an insult.
Because I actually think that it looks good, right?
Yeah.
It's not a bad look. I'm not trying to say that
It's
these
just
guys
generic.
look bad. I'm just trying to say that it's not. Yeah, that it's generic. It doesn't take. It doesn't take thought or creativity or. It's not risky at all. I guess, and that's why I asked the question to you and to my wife, is because I don't personally dress that way. While I'm not like on the level of style or fashion that what do you prefer? Style?
Yeah.
Style that maybe you are or that you get your clients to. I certainly think about it.
Right.
And have tried to like steer it in one way. It's an active pursuit. It's not just totally passive.
Right.
And
it's
then
not, you're just wearing the 5K shirts that you picked up from the race.
But then I see this and how easy it is for these guys to wear what they're wearing and have some level of success. Yeah, no, they're successful.
Right.
And it makes me, well,
Why even try?
Maybe I should just be buying the rack at PacSun too.
Right. But again, the assumption is that if you were to take everything that you are and put on that uniform, because you could pull it off.
Yeah.
But would you do it as well as they do? And, well.
But maybe I would do it better than the clothes I wear right now.
Maybe. Okay. So then if that's the case, what is the resistance to doing that? Is it that you don't want to be identified with those guys?
It is that I don't identify with that.
Okay.
Look.
So it's not your tribe.
Maybe it is my tribe. No, I wouldn't say that it's not my tribe. I would say that it's a me thing.
Gotcha. So it's not your taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to dress to my taste more than I try to dress, because that probably is, I mean.
Which makes sense, and that's why you focus more on creativity, on being able to stand out, on looking like you put in some effort, because for you, there is more value in dressing in a way that obviously is still within the dress code and what's acceptable and all that, but it distinguishes yourself as opposed to looking like you're one of the guys.
I don't know that it's so much to distinguish myself. It's more what I think looks good.
Yeah. Okay.
It's my taste versus what is clearly being demonstrated as the majority's
Okay,
taste.
but
and the benefits that these guys are seeing from catering to the taste of the majority.
Right. Okay, but my question related to that is your taste affected by what other people do or do not like? Is that a taste that if all the guys were dressing like you, would you then all of a sudden say, I need to tweak this up a little bit?
That's a good question.
Because
Maybe.
a lot of times that happens where you think a lot of guys will just say, well, I just wear what I want. I don't worry about tribe or anything else like that. But subconsciously I like what I like because of all these other things that come into it.
I'm not trying to say I'm this lone wolf on,
no,
on
of
my
course
fashion
not.
island.
No, right. Otherwise, we'd see you in some like steampunk whatever crap.
Yeah, because that's who I am on the inside.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, I'm so glad that's not. No, but you're right. You were not some crazy avant-garde outlier,
Right.
But at the same time, you do have a little bit of a little bit more of that. You could call it punk rock or a little bit more rebellious. Of I don't want to look like the jocks. I don't want to look like all these other guys.
Sure. I think there is something. Yeah, I guess my separation from them is the. You didn't try. Like you didn't have to try, right? That's maybe. I guess you could call this resentment. This feeling. Like,
okay.
Sure, call it resentment, and I think that maybe is where it stems from. Is you didn't try, you just dressed like everybody else here. It was easy, and you're winning.
Yes.
Whereas, I feel like. I don't do that, and maybe I don't. My perception is I don't win. Like
right.
Or that it's easy to see that you dress well.
Which, just for the record, what Brandon is not saying is that he wishes that he had married somebody different than his wife.
No, that's not what I'm
that's
saying.
not what he's saying by not winning. Not at all.
Not what I'm saying.
Because I know we're going to get some dork who's just like, I can't believe he's talking about his wife, because that's not the case.
No, not the case at all.
Okay, so there's a resentment, but that again relies on an assumption that they didn't try, because in that arena of style, they probably didn't. But they've tried in their physique, they've tried in their grooming, they've tried in their social skills and their charisma and all these other things. And so it allows for them to, and they're still trying to some extent, where they've recognized all the other guys are wearing the PacSun uniform.
And that's true. I shouldn't say they haven't tried, because they're not wearing the dad shorts
exactly,
and the free t-shirts and the Asics running shoes,
right? But they do have a very generic look that is very recognizable for all these same guys, and so there's not a lot of distinction or personality between them that looks like it's required a lot of effort.
And replicatable.
Yes,
it's very replicatable.
Yeah, and enter Project M, because that's what's fun, is the idea that by doing the challenges that we're doing, by building ourselves the way that we are, by getting in better physical shape, by improving our social skills, by becoming more interesting, better storytellers, by doing all of these things, then we very much could just say, I'm going to adopt whatever this stupid uniform is and still be able to crush it in that.
So what percentage of guys are, or do you think many guys would benefit from looking at that uniform and adopting it? Like, would they see benefits from just doing that? Would that be a level up for a lot of people?
No, I would say the only guys who would benefit from that are the guys who are already doing so.
Okay,
If
why?
because if you were not naturally already inclined toward that, then what you're doing is you're pulling yourself too far away, and again, trying to send a signal of being somebody that you're not. And
Okay.
so maybe there's a few guys that are kind of on the up and up, and you know they're doing well in sales, and they're getting in better shape, and their wife's saying, "Hey, let's go shopping. We're going to get rid of this crap that you wore in college. Let's go buy this stuff that these other." Maybe for those guys, but for everybody else, especially for somebody who's in more of a creative space or anything else, it really doesn't. I guess that if you don't easily identify within the tribe and the uniform of that tribe, and it's not a very natural, I'm just going to buy what these other
Right.
guys are buying,
Right.
then no, you are better off distinguishing yourself some way as opposed to just trying to out and out adopt what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I think is the case for most behavior, where there is a certain type of personality that is really happy to just, these are the rules to success. I'm going
Right.
to follow those rules. I'm just going to put in the work. I'm going to do it. And hey, look, I've created success. And then there's dorks like us who have to overcomplicate everything
Right.
because we want to be creative or we want to be authentic or all these that really aren't meaningful for us.
Right.
Right? That's valuable because we could buckle down
Right.
and just do the things that you're supposed to do.
Right.
But that's not as meaningful for us as finding another way of doing something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That was good. I don't know that I'm sold on that. Like, I think that's great, and I'm not trying to say that like your business and your whole consulting thing isn't valuable, but I don't know that I agree that a lot of guys couldn't just go into PacSun, buy the rack, and have leveled up.
Well, okay. I think that's a different question because a lot of guys very much could just go into PacSun, buy the rack, and level up. But I don't think that the majority of guys could go into PacSun, buy the rack, and meet their full potential.
Okay, sure. No, for sure.
Right.
For sure.
Okay, so I think that's an important distinction to make because for this specific group of guys, this specific tribe, this specific mindset, great. You got lucky when it comes to style. You don't have to work with somebody like me. You can reach your full potential by just going into the mall and buying that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd say that.
Well, to the potential to what they need, right?
Sure.
But for most people, absolutely you can level up because most guys dress so poorly.
It's the same as like the J. Crew thing, right? Like
Exactly.
The MFA.
Yes, you can. Exactly. Right. Yeah, it's male fashion advice. It's a subreddit, and it's basically buy everything from J. Crew. And you're totally right. A lot of men would benefit massively from doing that, but they still wouldn't benefit as well as they would if they were to create something that was actually expressive of who they are. It was more individualized. It was more calibrated. It's the same thing with if you're riding a bicycle and then you go buy a Civic, it's like, yeah, you're absolutely leveling up. But there's a whole spectrum of things. Maybe you need a truck. Maybe you need a sports car. Maybe you need a minivan, depending on what you're doing. And the Civic is obviously still going to be better than a bike.
Right. And I guess, I mean, you can look at that in any aspect of
Yep.
life, right? Same with fitness, working out, going from not working out to
Start
P90
running.
Yeah.
Or
start running,
P90X.
P90X.
Exactly.
Like, you're
Yes.
going to level up.
Yes, but it's not going to get you to the full potential of working with a trainer,
Personal
strength
training,
training, doing some cardio, getting your diet, paying attention to macros and calories and all this other stuff.
Right.
Agreed.
All
Yep.
right.
Okay, so the moral of today's episode is dress like Chad, right?
Dress like that.
No, that's a fun one to think about because it is. There are situations where you really can just kind of luck out and you get it on easy, and I think it's important. Maybe this is wrong. This is totally just speculation on my part, but I think that for most of us, there's at least one or two of those things, and maybe that's what we call talent or just kind of and get good at that. And then put your energy into doing other stuff that does require a little bit more effort.
Right.
But just kind of tap into that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Awesome.
It is interesting to think about, and yeah, I think I guess it is good to be just aware of where you stand versus whatever in whatever aspect you're thinking about, whatever the generic passable uniform looks like, whatever that is, and then just be conscious of whether you're there. Maybe that is where you are,
Right.
and that's okay.
Right.
Or or maybe you're trying something different and you're not up to that level yet, or maybe you're trying something different and
you're above that. No, but
that.
that brings up a good point, because a lot of guys, especially in this self-development space, hate the idea of doing something to be passable. It's always, I got to optimize. I got to bring everything up to the same level. And there are certain things in life that you really should just be passable at. You don't have to be in the top 10% of everything. You can't be in the top 10% of everything that you do. So why not with the things that are less important in your life, just get to the point where it's passable, and then focus your energy on the things that you can excel at and get better at those things.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. If you want to level up your style and be better than passable, go ahead and DM Tanner Guzzi at Tanner Guzzi on Twitter.
There we go. Oh, that's a good plug.
He'll hook you up right.
You've been practicing.
Hook you up right.
Awesome. Okay. We'd love to hear from you guys what you think about this. Do you, in fact, have you noticed this before, where there is a group of successful men, whether that's successful in business or relationships or something else, that they seem to have a uniform, and have you felt like, freak, all I have to do is adopt the uniform and I'm going to be good to go?
Right.
Or is there something internally in you that makes you think, that could probably work, but I'm still not going to do it because I want to be more of an individual than that anyway?
Right.
So let us know if that's the case for you, and we'll talk to you guys on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.